And again, a reminder, the Mighty Ducks are coming up against Dallas. They'll be looking to take a 3-1 lead, coming off their only loss. You know, the Devils have a Stanley Cup in '95 and 2000, and you wonder, without Scott Stevens, would they have either?
I don't think they would, and I think you saw tonight what this guy means to this team, and we talked about it. He left the game in the first period. Tampa Bay ended up winning that game handily, played very, very well, tons of offensive chances. Tonight, an entirely different story. He comes into the lineup, he plays the most minutes he's played in the playoffs, played great, moved the puck very well, played great defense right in the first shift. He let San Luis know he was there and ready to play physically. Looked like he's 100%, and to top it off, where he scores a goal to the piece de resistance.
Yeah, great players respond to a challenge, whether it's another team challenging them to up their level to another section. But with Scott Stevens today, it was a question, would he even be in the lineup? Not only does he come in the lineup, he makes his presence felt early and often. He was the best player on the ice. He played like a healthy Scott Stevens. When he plays like that, he's really tough to play against.
You know, the names that you expect to hear on Tampa Bay, you did not hear much of. I wonder if their stars are going to come out to play. How can they change that up as it goes back to New Jersey?
I don't think they can. I think San Luis had one shot through 2 periods. Prospel, I think, had one chance early. LeCavalier had the one time he was behind Stevenson, and Stevens wired him into the net, and he had nothing after that. The only offense they created was on the power play. So, you know, if you're looking for a positive lining, maybe if they take some stupid penalties in the next game, they might have a chance. But Devils don't take stupid penalties.
They don't, and I think Tampa has to play perfectly to win. And, you know, tonight's game, they came out, they wanted to play very well. They make a mistake on the first goal. They make another mistake on the second goal. The score's 2-1. They get a power play. They take a too many men on the ice penalty. And in the third period, I know they're pressing for the tying goal, but they gave up man advantage break after break. And, you know, the Devils ended up with 8 or 9 man advantage breaks. You're never going to beat them giving up that many chances.
All three of us agree that Scott Stevens was a difference maker in this one. It's the reason they're only 1 game away from wrapping this up. As we told you, the second part of our doubleheader, Anaheim with a 2-1 lead over Dallas. For a preview on that one, Gary Thorne and Bill Clement.
In case you were wondering why the Dallas Stars are the favorites, not only where they finished during the regular season, Bill, but also as a result of today's announcement of those who are vying for the postseason awards.
Okay, they've got a big payroll. We know that, but they've got big-name players. That's why they have a big payroll. And there are 4 guys that have made the finals of 4 major awards in the NHL. Mike Modano is a finalist for the Lady Byng. That combines excellence and sportsmanship. Yuri Lettinen, the Selke, for the best defensive forward. Darian Hatcher, first time, made the finalist for the Norris Trophy as the NHL's best defenseman. And Marty Turco, one of the 3 finalists for the Vezina as the best goalie. And that is why, when you consider what the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim have going for them, which is a 2-1 a series lead, they're doing something special. I mean, it was good enough knocking off Detroit. They're still at it.
They are still at it. And one of the reasons, of course, is they have the man who in the playoffs, among all the goaltenders, is #1 in both goals against and save percentage.
J.S. Giguère has one of those temperaments that is perfect for this time of year, and he swears that he doesn't really focus on the outcome. It's just the process. And even in the morning skate with his goalie coach, Francois Allaire, just tapping him, saying good work, he comes out, works on the foundational stuff, works on the basic stuff, and then basically comes out during the game and focuses on 1 save at a time. He says that's what he does. I believe him. He spends 30 minutes in the morning standing, talking to reporters. He's got a smile on his face. He is truly loving the process here.
He's listening to his coach about enjoy the ride, and apparently he's really enjoying the ride, and why not? However, the ride gets a little tougher when you're trying to shut down Dallas. That has been a primary responsibility of Keith Carney.
Keith Carney, I think, for years has been one of the underrated defensemen in the NHL. Mike Modano in this series has had 110 shifts at even strength. Keith Carney has been out there against him for 102 of them. It has done just a fantastic job against Mike Modano. He did the same thing against Sergei Fedorov, Carney did in the Detroit series.
We love to talk about defense because in the playoffs, that's what wins. But ladies and gentlemen, if you don't put a goal up on the board, you're not going to win a game, and that is now the problem for the Ducks.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? They're getting goals from guys that are supposed to be their defensive specialists. I mean, Steve Ruchin only had 1 goal the last 21 games of the regular season. He scored in Game 3. This was his goal that went off the skate of help me here, number 24 for the Dallas Stars, Richard Matvechuk.
Matvechuk right in front.
You don't want to leave his name out. But Steve Ruchin now has 3 goals in the last 4 games. So this time of year, and the same thing happens every year. You look to your star players to lead the way. But when you start getting goals from guys that are supposed to be your defensive specialists, you got something special going on, and that's what the Mighty Ducks have.
There's something around Anaheim called the most important game of the season. It's every game they play every day. That's what their coach says. And tonight, he's not lying. We'll see. It's 2-1 right now. Ducks have the advantage.
And guys, you know, one of the interesting things about this series is the fact that Paul Kariya obviously is the known star for this Anaheim team. He's not one of the leading scorers right now.
No, and that's why this team is so different than teams in the past. Remember, it used to be Timo Solani and Paul Kariya. Those guys carried the team in the playoffs. If they didn't score 4 or 5 goals each, they weren't going to win. Now it is a team based on goaltending, based on defense, based on timely goals. Very similar to a team that we just saw, the New Jersey Devils. They don't need a lot of goals to win. So that's why right now, I don't think we got to be talking too much about the chinks in the armor of the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah.
They got beat once, and they gave up 2 goals in that loss to a mighty Dallas team. I don't think there's many problems in Anaheim right now.
No, there's not, and Dallas knows that they haven't made that much headway in the series. They're back in it, being down 2-1. This is the same position they were in the Edmonton series. They were down 2-1, they were on the road, and they needed a big game. And in that big game, Mike Modano was terrific. Modano's been their best forward throughout the playoffs. He needs to play very well today, as they need some help from Pierre Turgeon on that second line. He's given them nothing so far, and with Arnott and Young, they need to contribute as well.
All right, we mentioned that Paul Kariya is not the leading scorer on the Anaheim Mighty Ducks in the playoffs, but he is their leading star. They don't win without Paul Kariya.
Growing up, being Canadian, everyone watches Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday nights. You think about being an NHL player. You know, I was never at the top of my age group level. My dad was a real athlete in the family. He played for Canada in rugby. He was a terrific athlete, very quick, agile, great feet, great hands. Well, I've got 2 brothers. They both went to the University of Maine, Steve and Martin. There's a lot of competition. My mom can only deal with it for a couple days now in the summertime. It just gets so intense.
Paul and Steve got to face off against each other in the NHL back in 1999.
I found myself watching him a lot during that game, and it was almost distracting to the point because I was sitting there going, oh, no, nice play, Steve, or you should have done this. My father's side of the family is from Japan, and my mother is British-Canadian mix.
Paul's Canadian, you know, that's basically it. He's still proud, there's no question about it. He's a big fan of the Japanese imports, especially in baseball, but I think first and foremost, Paul's Canadian.
We went to Japanese language school every Saturday when I was 4 or 5 years old. But that lasted a couple of years, and everything that I learned went out the window. So I don't remember too much other than ordering a few things at the Japanese restaurant. You might need a couple takes here. I learned how to juggle during the lockout season in '94. My assistant coach at Maine was reading this book, The Art of Juggling, and said you should pick it up. At that time, he said, well, it'll be really good for your hand-eye coordination and something that you should try. And I tried it and enjoyed it, and still do it.
Paul Kariya and the Ducks. It is coming up. You see 2 goals and 3 assists, a +1, but most important number, Anaheim leads 2-1. When we come back, we'll hear from Scott Stevens.
For the go-ahead goal, under 2 to play. Across.
Hit it!
For free live audio, fantasy games, and official NHL merchandise, the place to go is NHL.com on MSN.
Looks like you're going out of town for a while.
Yeah, 2-week training seminar in Arizona.
Training camp. A chance to bond with your teammates. To learn the newest tricks of the trade. Get ready for another winning year. Geez, I really miss it.
Going away for a while, Residence Inn has everything you need to make life on the road feel more like home.
Here, this always works for me.
Now make 5 stays and earn a free weekend. Call 1-888-MARRIOTT today. Residence Inn. Your Marriott awaits.
This is out of control. How am I supposed to manage all of this? No, that's not what I mean. Look, I just want this to work with that. That's not a solution. There has to be a better way.
Okay, let's say this is your car and you get into an accident. Oh boy. If you take it to an Allstate recommended repair shop, they'll fix it, so you're pretty happy. You're like, woo, I'm pretty happy. Even better, Allstate guarantees the workmanship for as long as you own the car, which means if even the smallest thing goes wrong, you don't have to pay for it. So you're still happy. You're like, woo, I'm still happy. So there you go, the Allstate Lifetime Repair Guarantee.
Call now and find out how you're in good hands with Allstate.
Mike Modano and the Dallas Stars finally got one from Anaheim after the Ducks had won 6 consecutive games, and they'll look to even the series up tonight. Well, here are the Hart Trophy finalists. As we announced them earlier, Martin Brodeur, great goaltender with New Jersey. Peter Forsberg led the NHL in scoring. And Marcus Naslund of the Vancouver Canucks, who joins us now from Minnesota, where right now his team leads that series 2-1. Marcus, first of all, congratulations on the Hart Trophy. It's got to be tough, though, to concentrate on that when you're trying to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, it's very flattering to be mentioned with the top players around the league, but our focus is now to totally focus on the Stanley Cup for sure.
Marcus, I've always, it's a great story. You and Peter, you played junior together in Sweden. You were drafted in the first round together. You both came into the NHL pretty well at the same time, but you took a little bit longer to develop in the NHL. Matter of fact, you were even traded early in your career. Is there a reason why you think you took a little bit longer than Peter?
Well, he might. I think he was a more complete player than I was coming over. I had a lot of things I had to work with and adjust to coming over to play this type of hockey. And after I struggled early there, I kind of lost my confidence. It took me quite some time to get it back.
Marcus, you guys had a terrific year right down to the last weekend of the season. You end up losing first place in the division to Colorado, and your well-documented talk to the fans after we said we choked at the end of the year, we'll play better in the playoffs, yet you guys started a little slowly against St. Louis. What was the turnaround point for you guys?
Well, I think we obviously came out of the gate slow with a terrible game, and for some reason, we just didn't find the right way to play early, and I don't know if it had anything to do with the way we finished the season, but once we felt how we were supposed to play, it started coming, and after that, it seemed like we've been playing real good hockey.
Marcus, I'm sure the whole team is happy to get away from all the reporters and all the hoopla in Vancouver, and I'm sure one of the guys that's really happy is Todd Bertuzzi. But seriously, if Todd doesn't start scoring, can you guys take a run at winning the Stanley Cup? He's playing hard, doing a lot of good things, but if he doesn't put the puck in the net, are you guys a cup contender?
Yeah, definitely. I think Todd is a scorer, but he brings so much more to the table, and just having him in the lineup and him crashing and banging and opening up a lot of things for other players means a lot to this team. So I think Todd has played really well. The puck might have not gone in so far, but it's going to come. He's too talented not to.
Marcus, the one area you guys have had problems with in the playoffs is your penalty kill. All 5 goals in the game last night were on power play goals. Well, your power play is working so well with Jovanovski in front. Will you guys make any adjustments on your kill in Game 4?
I don't think so. I think we have the personnel to get it going, and late in the game we had a couple of crucial kills that we ended up killing off, so stuff like that is a confidence builder, and we try to stay in the moment here and take one game at a time. I know it's a cliche, but it's very true.
Look at Marcus. I play with Boreas Salming in Toronto, and he is without a doubt one of the favorite people I ever played with in my life, and I think he's one of the top 5 defensemen to ever play in the NHL. Now, you growing up in Sweden, was Boreas your favorite player, or was it somebody else?
You know what, he's probably the guy that I have the most respect for out of all the Swedes or all the Europeans coming over here, because just seeing what he had gone through to get to the point where all the Europeans are respected here is remarkable. But obviously I had the scorers as idols like Gretzky and Lemieux and Mats Naslund, Håkan Loob, guys like that.
All right, Marcus, thanks a lot, and good luck in Game 4, leading the series 2-1, and try and stay out of the Mall of the Americas a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Get lost at
that
Camp
Canadian
Snoopy
money don't work there.
I can just imagine poor young Marcus, the poster of Boreas Salming on his wall, saying, "Who's the guy in the background laying on his behind?"
Yeah, but a smart thing when you play with Boreas and you play with a guy like Marcus, I'm sure the wingers are the same thing. Get the puck, get it to Marcus. Get the puck, get it to Boreas. That's the way I played when I was in Toronto.
Yeah, stay out of the way. Get the puck to the good guy. I've watched him all season long. He's had a fantastic fantastic season. Marcus Naslin's one of the most underpublicized stars in our league.
That's what'll happen playing out west and in Vancouver and Canada that as well.
3 hours away.
The Senators and the Flyers. In this series again, it is hard to figure out which team is going to come out which game. It looked like Philadelphia, Ray, was going to come out and blow the thing wide open in the first period of the series. They lose game 1, and now they're down 2 games to 1.
They're down 2 games to 1, mainly because they can't score so much on the power play. This is the best team 5-on-5 in the National Hockey League in the playoff scoring. Look at this. They've got the one chance here. Mark Recchi's going to come and shoot the puck. Kim Jansson's standing 40 feet away. He's not doing anything on the power play. He needs to attack the net, even though he's the offside D. Look at this. The puck comes here. Look at the slot of the Flyers. They have John LeClaire working in the middle. Mark Recchi, again, is on the weak side. He's either got to come to the slot or get to the back door. Where he's standing now, this is the only play they have. Weinrich ends up breaking his stick on it. If the Flyers are going to succeed on the power play, they've got to get pucks to the front of the net. And it's not just one guy. They have to outnumber the Senators down around the front of the net. I don't think they've done a good enough job with that in the first part of the series.
No, they haven't done a good enough job in the power play. But I'll tell you one guy who has done a good enough job, and that's Marian Hossa of the Ottawa Senators. This guy has been awesome. Philly was going to come out and push Ottawa around in this game. He came out right off the bat. He's the most skilled offensive player. He went nose to nose with all the Philly defensemen. He scored a beautiful goal in a wraparound. Here's a breakaway he got in OT. He didn't bury it, which is very, very rare. But this guy sees the ice. He reads the play. He could smell a bad pass coming a mile away. He just jumps on it. Usually finishes plays like this. Lucky the overtime didn't go end right there. But this guy is one Ottawa player that you can't question his courage. You can't question his toughness. You can't question his commitment. He's been Ottawa's best player all playoffs long. He's leading them in scoring. And I thought he was a real changer of the game early in that game when he came out physical against Philadelphia.
It's not very often that you'll question a goaltender who has a shutout in the series, but Roman Cechmanek did not play that well in game number 3. Can he get them to the next series?
He wasn't great in game 1. He was awesome in game 2. He won the game for them in game 2, and he was average in game 3, which Roman Cechmanek is going to show up. But the one thing that happens with Roman, he overplays the shooter. That means when a guy is coming down the wall with the puck, say Hossa, he really challenges Hossa, and if Hossa shoots that, fine. But these are the greatest offensive players in the world. Hossa will fake the shot, or Bonk will fake the shot, come around the net, and put a wraparound goal in. I've seen probably 3-4 wraparound goals already scored in Cechmanek this series and in the playoffs.
And not only does he have to play well just for the Flyers to win, but he's got to play against the guy at the other end. And Patrick Lalime is, again, an underrated guy in the league, and he plays very solidly in the net, a lot like Jaguar does, although he doesn't stay up in his butterfly quite so well. But Lalime has given Ottawa a chance to win this in this series, particularly in Game 3, when it looked like Ottawa was on their heels a little bit at the start of the game. He's given them a chance to win. I don't know that Cechmanek has done that enough times for Philadelphia.
This could be the series tomorrow for Philadelphia. If they go down 3-1 and then have to go back to Ottawa, hard to figure they're going to be able to win that one. Thursday, tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern time. That series 2-1 in favor of the Senators. Let's go back now to highlight to New Jersey and Tampa Bay. Scott Stevens back in the lineup. You see the flap on the left here, 15 stitches there. Gianta breaks this play up, and Scott Gomez goes in for the goal.
He makes a little fake, and that makes Javi Bulin spread those legs, and he throws it right between a goal scorer's goal. First one of the playoffs.
And then a 1-0 game is tied as Cullimore breaks it.
And this is not a goal scorer that scores, and it's Cullimore. He throws it to the net through the screen, and it goes in.
Tied at 1-1. Then Patrick Elias, who had also been quiet, throws this one over top of Javi Bulin.
2 top offensive players for New Jersey gets a goal this game, so that's great news for New Jersey Devils. Scott Stevens +2 already. Vincent
Lecavalier, and guess who's there to knock him down?
Yeah, Stevens was terrific at both ends of the ice. He jumped into play a lot. He was physical. Here he puts Lecavalier away, and late in the game, that's a pretty good one. That's a Melrose wristlet.
I wouldn't have been on the ice with 6 minutes left, I can guarantee you.
I'll tell you what, as you look at this, you can talk about Ray Ferraro and Barry Melrose. They had this before the game started, saying this guy was a difference maker. He had the big hits. He had that goal, 3-1. Now the Devils lead the series 3-1. And we talked with Scott Stevens after the game.
Thanks very much. The formula for success for New Jersey is rather obvious. Scott Stevens is out of the lineup. The Devils lose the game. Scott Stevens back in the lineup. The Devils win, and rather convincingly. And he joins us now from just outside the Devils dressing room. Scott, first of all, how close were you to not playing in this game, and how do you feel now afterwards?
Well, yesterday there was no way I was going to play, but I woke up this morning and felt much better, and rode the bike a bit this morning, and then I decided to go out on the ice and skate. Our trainer did a good job of getting my helmet ready, Rich Matthews, so I could get it on and get the protection. But in the warm-up, I didn't feel very good. My legs were felt a little light, but I got better as the warm-up went on. And I think the biggest thing is all the other guys pulled together and played very well, which helped me out tonight a lot.
Scott, as far as the team not responding, you know, in Game 3 when you were out. Did you say anything in particular to them to kind of get them fired up?
For this game?
Yeah.
Not really, just the normal thing and how big a game it was tonight and that we needed this win. But I thought the guys responded very well. We had a great game from everybody, and it was definitely a big road win for our club.
Big goal there on Joe Nieuwendyke's winning faceoff. Did you see much there? Did you have much room?
Well, I just knew I had a bit of time, and there was a bit of traffic, and I just put it over his shoulder, and had some time and put it on net.
Scott, can we put the whole Pavel Kabina issue to rest?
Yeah, I mean, there's no use. I mean, that's a play that we try quite often. I've tried it, not that I tried to score, you know. You see you have time at the red line, so instead of dumping around, you maybe think you can catch the goalie cheating a bit, and then you try to put it on net. And when the puck's rolling, that's even more reason to try to put it on net. There was guys in Montreal, Jacques Lemaire used to try to get the puck rolling before he shot it from the red line to get it to drop. So, you know, I know the other guys are trying to stick up for me. It's intense time of year, but I have no hard feeling about what Pavel did, and it's not an issue anymore.
Scott, thanks. Good luck the rest of the way.
Okay, thank you.
Scott Stevens with the earpiece in his right ear. The captain of the New Jersey Devils, just as you would expect. Back to you.
Well, Stephen, Darren, exactly, because the one thing that I always think about with this guy, he plays hard, he comes up with a big hit. You remember Eric Lindros knocking him out, but he always walks away with the respect of his teammates, the opponents, and everyone who watches the game.
Oh, exactly, without a doubt. And Ray's got a story on Stevens, but one thing we got to mention, too, a guy on the other side of the lineup, Jason Cullimore, he went into the boards face first. He had 83 stitches on his cheek. Man, he came back, didn't miss a game. That's just our athletes. Hockey players, by far the toughest athletes in the world.
And this is no surprise what Stevens did being able to play. I played with him in a World Championships in '89, and Dave Babbage hit a player from Sweden right at the blue line. His skate came up and cut Stevens right under the eye for 88 stitches. They had to layer it, four rows of 22 stitches. He got stitched up that night. We played the next day. He wanted to play, but the plastic surgeon said, no, you can't play. There's too much chance of separation. So he waited one more day and played the day after. This is a tough guy. I mean, nobody could believe that he was even considering playing.
Yeah, and everybody, absolutely, even if you're not a Devils fan, you seem to pull for this guy. Ray, when you played in the National Hockey League, 400-plus goals, you're not one of the bigger guys in the league.
No, I didn't like being around the front of the net with him much.
But you would be a giant compared to Martin St. Louis.
There is very few players.
He'd be bigger than Martin. He's not a giant.
There is very few players that I am taller than, that I was taller than in the league. Martin St. Louis is one. Brian Giunta from the Devils is another. I love this series. These guys are great.
They'd be calling you Stretch in this lineup.
Well, almost, yeah. That'd be a good one.
St. Louis, not the biggest guy in stature, but certainly is in heart.
Martin St. Louis.
He plays it rough, he plays it tumble, he drills St. Louis.
Americanized. Being from Quebec, where, you know, just anywhere pretty much in Canada, I mean, hockey is a religion. Every kid plays hockey.
Maybe it was the little guy. I think it was. Martin St. Louis.
I'm like 5'8", just under 5'8". For quite some times when I played street hockey, I called myself Mats Naslund. Mats Naslund used to play for the Montreal Canadiens. He was the smallest player for the Canadiens. We're number 26, and that's how I started to wear that number when I was young. I remember thinking back, well, Mats Naslund did it, why can't I do it? Oh, when I grew up, I did a little bit of gymnastic when I was young. I can walk on my hands. My family always pushed me towards school, and I figured that be best off go get my education and play hockey as well. And if hockey doesn't work, I got something to fall onto. And those 4 years at Vermont, it was I cherished those 4 years. It was probably 4 of the best years of my life. I had to start in the IHL. I signed with the Cleveland Lumberjack as an independent team. I waited for my time to get a chance to sign a contract in the NHL, and that happened that year with the Calgary Flames. But unfortunately, everybody got fired, and I had to start from scratch again, you know, going somewhere else. So that's how I got signed with Tampa Bay. My main goal, myself and the team, was to make the playoffs, and we've accomplished that, and now we're living it to the fullest, and it's great.
St. Louis wheel shot, scores! Tampa Bay has won a series for the first time in its history.
You think about the history of the National Hockey League, and you can come up with at least 24 small guys who have been superstars in this league. I mean, Marcel Dion, Denis Savard, Henri Richard.
Yeah, but have you seen the trend tonight in the pieces we did?
Yeah.
Paul Kariya, St. Louis. Paul Kariya can juggle. Martin St. Louis can walk in his hands. You know what's going to happen during the lockout year? Everyone's going to be going to the circus rate for jobs. It's an automatic thing.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, the other thing, common thread with the small guys, everybody lies about their height. There's no way Martin St. Louis is 5'8". I used to be 5'10", then I retired, now I'm 5'9". You know, St. Louis says he's 5'8", a little under. Marcus Naslund said he was 5'7.5". I played against him. There was no chance Mats Naslund was 5'7.5".
Short guys lie about their height, fat guys lie about their weight.
Everybody's got something.
And do you lose an inch for every year you're retired as well?
Well, if we get the measure out, I could be closer sliding on my way down here. It's not helping.
Another thing we like about these Stanley Cup playoffs is it gets everybody involved in talking about some of the controversies, some of the things we like, some of the things we don't like. The guys from Pardon the Interruption join us once again. Michael Wilbon, Tony Kornheiser, talking about the overtime.
Okay, Wilbon, time to talk hockey. We start with 3 words: too much overtime.
Okay, you got to wonder how many periods, overtime periods, people can stay awake for, because we've had a 5 OT.
5
There's been
overtime.
a 3 OT. At some point, one night this postseason, Tony, simultaneous, multiple OTs, which in some situations, you know, that could be good, but not for playoff
5
hockey.
overtimes. A regular game, 3 periods, takes about 245, 250. You had
Not
another
anymore.
245,
They
250.
reduced the
You
regular
had-
season
it's
games.
7 hours
They're now lasting
worth
about
of hockey.
220.
As Rodney Dangerfield says, while we're young, huh?
In 1987, I went to and tried to write about a game between the Islanders and the Capitals, a Game 7, which went 4 OTs, ended at 2:02 in the morning, with Pat LaFontaine winning the game for the Islanders.
Right.
And I had to stay there the entire time into Easter morning, and you were at that game, but I think you were a total bum and left
You know
early.
what happens?
What?
Once you pass 1:30 and the deadline is over, you leave if you have a brain in your head. The only people who stay at these games are people with no ride home.
So what?
There's 200 people in the
What do you
stands.
think the NHL should do?
You have
about
to take players off the ice. That's what you have. Look, I don't want penalty kicks. I don't want gimmicks. No, but you take
That
players
is
off the ice.
the definition of a
No.
gimmick. You want to play strip hockey where you lose an article, you lose a person with every passing
Announcers don't like it,
OT?
writers don't like it, players don't like it, fans don't like it. If fans liked it, you'd have more people at the end of the game than
You
the
sure
beginning.
players don't like it?
They hate it. They
The
can't
quality of
stand
play
it.
does
They
suffer.
can't stand it. Again, while
That's
we're young.
it. We're done. Back to you guys.
All right, guys, PTI, thanks a lot. But, you know, obviously, I don't want to see anything change to this. If you shorten the overtimes, now you're going to have 20 overtime periods. You're not going to go to a shootout. Don't take players off the ice. Play the